The Gilded Age Season 3 is back and Bertha is going crazy because they cannot find Glattis because she snuck off into the night. What's the deal, my people? You know what it is, Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you, another one, and this one is the Gilded Age Season 3 Episode 2 breakdown. I'll go over the whole story for it, then I'll give you my predictions of what I think is going to happen. And if you're into videos like this, do me a favor, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up so it can be shared to everybody across this realm. Let's get into it. Glattis has done her best runaway bride impression, sending the whole house into a frenzy. People don't know where she is, if she's been kidnapped or she just left on her own. Everybody is nervous, the staff is nervous, her brother's nervous, Bertha is even nervous. But then Bertha receives a letter right where Glattis is, and then she knows that she has to get dressed and do what she must. And Bertha takes control of this whole situation like a boss that she is, and then heads over to go and get her daughter. Now it comes down to, is Bertha right? I want to ask you in the comment section, who's right here, Bertha or Glattis? Peggy's parents then arrive from Brooklyn because their daughter is sick inside of Agnes's house. Well, should I say Agnes or should I say a sister? Well, we'll get to that later, but they are having a confrontation outside because the mother wants to go through the servants' entrance and the father wants to go through the main entrance on the door. And now the doctor shows up, and when he shows up, he basically makes a decision for them that they're going through the front door. Now we have to understand, they showed the Brooklyn Bridge get built. The Brooklyn Bridge was built in 1869. Slavery was abolished December 18th, 1865, so it's really only been a few years since slavery has ended in this country. And we know how it is today, that even back then, all slaves were not free because people aren't free right now. So it's easy to see why they would be wary entering a white woman's house in Manhattan, that they've never really been up to Manhattan because they live out in Brooklyn. And we do hear the gossip that there are black men inside the house by Mrs. Bowers. But defending the black people in the house are the Irish people, and that is no coincidence because the first indentured servitudes were Irish people, so they should know exactly how it feels to be a black person in white skin, because that's basically what they were for a long time when they were there themselves. And we hear Mrs. Bowers say straight up that the world that she's known is just all going away, and that she just, is not used to it yet, and she doesn't really want to get used to it. After that, we see the doctor go upstairs to tend to Peggy, and while they're there, they're feeling uncomfortable being in the white lady's house, trying to talk to him. Despite Agnes doing her best to try to make them feel comfortable, but from where they're coming from and where they did come from down south, they've never really seen white people act like this towards them, so they're really taken back by it at this moment. After that, we transition to Glattis, and she is trying to tell her man to grow a pair because she knows her mom is on the way and that they need to be a united front if they want to get married together. But when Bertha breaks in there, she tells Glattis, get your narrow ass in that carriage right now. And Glattis looks at her, and she looks at her back, and Glattis just splits tail and take off. And it's the right thing for Glattis to do at this time. Even when the mother tries to come over and talk to Bertha, like, listen, things aren't going the way they should, but maybe, the kids are in love, let them be in love. And she's like, I got plans for my daughter that are already set. Your son is not going to marry my daughter. I'm not going to have it. She tries to pull the old money trick on her, saying that her great-grandfather signed the Declaration of Independence. And Bertha could give two fucks. She does not care about that. She is new money. And new money is just whoever has the money has the power. I don't care about what your ancestors did or anything like that. Right now, this is my time. The doctor says that Peggy needs to stay where she's at until she gets better, and Agnes agrees that she stays and she should not go home, even though the parents want her to go back to Brooklyn. They are just so wary and don't understand the kindness of Agnes, and that white people actually do act the way she does. After that, George gets home right to a hornet's nest he jumps into, and we see him have a meeting before this goes down with his family with the J.P. Morgan, one of the richest people of the whole Gilded Age. And J.P. Morgan understands the plan, that he did not want to really buy the mines, but he wanted to buy the property so that he could run a rail system all the way from New York to California with minimal stops. JP Morgan tells him he does not have the money to do it, but he needs an investor. He says, yes, I do. JP Morgan, since he helped him out, decides that he is going to go on board with him in this project. Bertha plants the engagement story in the paper, and nobody is happy about it but Bertha. And this is not what George wanted to walk into, this big fight when he got home all this time on the road, and he just does not want to do it. He promised his daughter that she could marry for love, and I think he seems to want that to happen. But Bertha, in her manipulating ways, just wants to do what she feels is right for her daughter. And she does have a point. Again, I ask you, who is right? Is it Bertha? Is she protecting her daughter? Or is it the husband who just wants her daughter to marry for love? Now, I must be honest, I do not care about Aurora or her storyline, and I hope her husband does divorce her, because not one time did she say she wanted to stay in this marriage because she loved him. She just doesn't want to give up everything that she's built, her power that she holds, that we later see in the episode. Now I gotta rip up Ada, because this money has gone to her head. She wants the staff to all agree to sign this temperance movie if they want to do it. And how are they gonna feel like they cannot sign it when the boss is asking them to sign it? That is the reason why in unions, bosses are not allowed to go over to you and ask you not to join a union, because of conflict of interest. And that's what the staff is feeling. The staff is also feeling that they don't know who called the shots, and they need to know who to answer to. Who is the final say in any matter of this house? And Ada just trying to take it from Agnes. I do not like it. Then we see the doctor come back and talk to Peggy, and listen, man. Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, you name it, could see exactly where this storyline is going. Oh, can I listen to your lungs? Come on, I've used that line myself, my brother, so I understand it. And I respect the hustle, but very heavy-handed when dealing with this story. Let's hope it gets a little bit better as we see Glattis talking to her father who promised that she could marry for love, trying to get him to respect that promise, and he does. He says, listen, I will hear his offer out. I'll hear him. If he just comes to me like a man, I will listen to it. Aurora then decides that it's going to be Ada who calls the shots in the household. And as we can see, this is what she doesn't want to lose. She doesn't want to lose this influence. She doesn't care about a husband whatsoever. She just doesn't want to lose this power. And Ada is extremely greedy, because if you ask me, when she didn't have a pot to piss in, Agnes was there for her. And now that she got a little bit of money, now she wants to change things up. And to me, that is 100% wrong. Larry is over to talk with Jack to try to work out the details for the clock to make sure that they can do the presentation together, and he says he's going to go out and get him a suit so that he looks good during the meeting, and just consider that a little bit of my investment in you. But really, he's there for Mrs. Brooks, and he gets her outside. First she ghosts him. She doesn't let him kiss him, but she does inside of the carriage. And I don't know, I think this storyline is going to end bad with the clock. I just can't see him doing right by the kid. We finally get to the highlight of the episode, and that is the big benefit party, where Aurora has lied and said that her husband was upstairs sleeping the whole time because he was sick. This episode is showing us that lies will come back to haunt you in this, because we see George ask Bertha straight up, is there anything you're not telling me? And she lies straight up and says, no, there's nothing I'm not telling you. She then threatens this lady's son that he'll never work again. And here we go. This guy shows up with his side piece. Not sick at all. Mrs. Astor sees it. After she sees it, she leaves. And after this, she feels devastated. He's like, this is my house. He's just letting her know, I'm going to make your life miserable if you don't give me what I want. How long until she takes herself out of it? You let me know. But when the fiance tries to talk to George, he got no balls. Can't say anything. He just runs away the whole time. Just runs out of there, scared to death. And Glattis is better without a guy like that, in my opinion. But his mother is like, we are old money. This is how new money acts. You can find better than this lady. The episode basically wraps with the Duke showing up at the Russells, but he does not show up alone. No, he brings his lawyers. And he then goes to Bertha and says, "What are you not telling me?" And she goes, "Well, I'm telling you now." And then the daughter is like, "Dad, what does this mean?" He goes, "I don't know, but don't worry. I'ma take care of it." And that's how the episode ends. Listen, we have seen a couple of themes play out in this episode. Number one, we see Aurora getting divorced, and how getting divorced is going to cost her everything that she's built up. And I think Bertha is going to be on that same track, because everything she has gotten is because of her husband's money, and she is just taking advantage of that. And she might be right in a sense of what she's doing, but it's the way she's going about it, and that's the problem. In the end, he's not having it. You can see how pissed off he was at the end of this episode, and we already seen him raise his voice in this episode for the first time. He's not having it, all right? And listen, they sleep in separate bedrooms in this big-ass house. Not a good sign, right? Even though it's probably the way it was done back then, but I wouldn't have it done back then. But you let me know in the comment section what you think is going to happen. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.